Especially Part 1, Part 2 of Gulliver's Travels describes the outlandish adventures of Gulliver in a new and surprising land. Though originally intending to sail to Surat with Captain John Nicholas and others, the crew finds themselves ultimately caught in a treacherous storm and shipwrecked onto an unknown land. As Gulliver gets out of the boat to explore, he turns around to see, much to his curiosity and dismay, his crew rowing fervently away from the land, leaving Gulliver stranded. Any question of why his crew was so desperate to get away from the island is quickly answered when Gulliver turns around to see a towering giant. The narrative then goes on to describe the many unbelievable adventures Gulliver has on the peninsula of Brobdingnag. Some of these fun stories include, but are definitely not limited to, slaying giant rats in the middle of the night, getting thrown into a large bowl of cream by a dwarf who stands just short of 30 feet high, and being roughly handled by an elephant-sized monkey. In the midst of all of the madness Gulliver experiences throughout his travels, there are two central themes that were the most significant to me. These themes display themselves often and are integrated into a great majority of Gulliver's stories. One of these is the idea of perspective. This concept is perhaps one of the more noticeable themes of Part 2. We know that Gulliver probably experiences a high degree of culture shock upon entering Brobdingnag. Everything and everyone is far too large, and the language is unintelligible to Gulliver, making it hard for him to function and to literally make his voice heard. Special adjustments in everyday items must be fashioned specifically with Gulliver in mind. With so many drastic physical differences between the giants and Gulliver from the start, there is an immediate imposed barrier between the two entities. As the narrative progresses, however, there is a gradual disintegration of the barrier between the Brobdingnags and Gulliver. Gulliver makes the most of his time in the country by learning their language from books and from his caretaker. The Brobdingnag king also makes an effort to understand where Gulliver is coming from by educating himself on the culture, government, and practices of Europe, and learning about the lifestyles of each other. Gulliver and the giants experience a balancing of perspectives. Gulliver and the Brobdingnags relate to each other on a deeper level, thus being able to view the world from each other's perspectives and being able to adjust to the perceived differences in each other. After 2 years on the land, Gulliver adjusts to the lifestyle of the giant people well, so much so that Gulliver's former high perception of his home in Europe is tainted and diminished as a result of seeing things from the giant's perspective. The second theme I found woven throughout Part 2 is the concept of habits. When Gulliver first arrives on Brobdingnag, the colossal size of everything enables Gulliver to see details that he would not have been able to see otherwise had he been in Europe, and especially if he had still been with the Lilliputians. Gulliver notices everything, especially the ugly stuff. He is taken aback by the giant's moles and rough skin, and is exposed to some of these things far more often than he'd prefer. For me, it was interesting to note how all these things seemed horrendous to Gulliver at first. Over time, he gradually was able to ignore these jarring differences and see the people for what they did as opposed to what they looked like. On a slightly different note, the theme of habit was also present in the actions and lifestyle carried out by Gulliver during his time in Brobdingnag. This was mentioned before, but to reiterate, I thought it was interesting that for successful assimilation to the giants' culture, it was imperative for Gulliver to adapt to the ways of the giants. He had to adjust his clothing and speaking style, among several other things, in order to make life work. He had to sacrifice his well-being in too many instances to ensure that he would even see another day. The habits Gulliver acquires with the giants is reinforced when Gulliver finally arrives back in Europe. He is shocked to find that everything is tiny. He does not need to look into the sky in order to make eye contact with someone else. In fact, he has to stoop down to even see his child. Normal-sized objects and materials are viewed with fresh eyes, which Gulliver mentions as an instance of the great power of habit and prejudice. Part 2 of Gulliver's Travels resonated with me because of the themes it presented in its satirical, amusing fashion. It made me seriously ponder the power of perspective, the power of breaking habits, and more importantly, how these things were present in European society during Swift's time. It is evident to me that Swift's depiction of Gulliver's adventures serves to draw parallels to the blindness and ignorance of the British people. The Brobdingnag government is described as one which possesses narrow principles and short views, emphasized physically by geographical isolation from the rest of the world. Perhaps Swift was trying to say that the British government had a lot to learn, that it was undeniably ignorant, or that it needed an adjustment of perspective to realize that it was not as mighty as it might have assumed itself to be. But no matter what, Swift presented a powerful message in this part of Gulliver's Travels, one that not only impacted society back then, but also is still relevant to this day.